So our next question this week comes from Lord Hunt, owner of iPlayWinner.com. He asks, when it comes to MVC3, is the scene entirely based online? Do they have sessions as they do here in the States? I know space is limited in Japan, and that's why most people play at the arcade, but how do you get good at console fighters then? So basically, yeah, you're right. The scene basically is entirely online for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And Frida is kind of a unique person. Even though his house is pretty small, he has invited like Nemo and other top Japanese Marvel players over to his house to play before and practice, but he doesn't really do it very often, and at the most he can maybe have 2 or 3 other people at his place. I mentioned that that's kind of enough, you know, like it's sort of the same way here. Sometimes, a lot of times you just invite like a couple of your friends over and just like crack session out for a while. But, you know, again, Japan doesn't really have that culture, and arcades are still heavily embedded in Japanese culture. So the problem is, you know, if you put Marvel 3 in an arcade cabinet, then the arcade in Japan doesn't make any money. So, you know, I think Mikado has done tournaments on arcade cabinet for Marvel 3 a couple of times, but it's not something they can do all the time because they're not going to profit. So, so yeah, that's that. It really is entirely based online. We asked the Stream Monsters as well, and they all seem to think that nobody really goes to anyone else's house to play Marvel. So Frida is like the only one in Japan that does that. So Hans then asks, well, how do you get good at console fighters then if, you know, if you don't have the experience? And I think the answer to that is you don't. You know, Frida, of course, was the highest placing Japanese Marvel 3 player at EVO. And I believe he made top 48 or 44 or something. But, you know, he placed higher than Tokido and Daigo and other players who are very strong as well. So Frida himself says that he really didn't have the matchup experience and the tournament experience from Marvel 3 being needed due to there being, you know, no arcade scene for it in Japan. So it's something that, you know, he tries his hardest for, and I'm sure these guys in Japan are watching our streams and tournaments and stuff to get an idea of what's going on. But without the, you know, when online is your only competition, it's kind of limited because, of course, there's lag and stuff like that. So, so yeah, that's it basically.